In this tutorial, we will learn how to change the grading option on an assignment that you've already created. There are a number of reasons why you might want to change the grading method on an assignment that you've already created. For example, maybe you've taught the course before and you decided that you would prefer to use a rubric when you hadn't used one, or you would prefer not to use a rubric when you had used one. Or maybe you were in the middle of creating the assignment and clicked Save and Return to Course because you were out of time, and now you want to come back and create your rubric. So let's see how we would do it. Let's start first with an assignment that never had a rubric, that just had the simple grading method, and see how we would add a rubric to it. This hidden assignment right here, Week 3 Forum Grading. If I click on that, as if I wanted to view or grade the submissions, and then scroll down to the administrative block, I will see an option called Advanced Grading. If I click on Advanced Grading, I can switch from Simple Direct Grading to either a grading guide or a grading rubric. If I click Rubric and choose Define New Grading Form from Scratch, then I will get the form to create a grading rubric. I click here to enter definitions of the criterion. I click here to add more point ranges, or I click here to add more criterion. And when I'm done, I click Save Rubric and make it ready. If I look at this and I decide, no, I'd rather not use a rubric, let me see what a grading guide is, I can click back and instead choose Grading Guide. Notice that the buttons stay the same. That confuses many people. I'll still get, since I've selected Grading Guide, I will still click this button and I'll get the grading guide form instead of the rubric form. In this case, I chose Grading Guide, and you'll see this is my grading guide form. I click here to enter the name of a criterion, for example, analysis. And I click here to enter the definition of what this analysis criterion will be for the students. I can click a separate definition for people who will be grading the course. And then I click here to enter a maximum mark. So if I want this particular criterion to be worth 1 through 5 points, I make the maximum mark 5 points. And then if there are more criterion, I click there to add a criterion. When I'm done, I click Save Grading Guide and Make Ready, and I will now have a grading guide or a rubric as my grading method for this particular assignment. Now let's go back and look at an assignment that already had a rubric, and maybe I want to change it to a grading guide, or I want to change it to simple grading. If I scroll down to this activity, and then go to my administrative block, you'll see that I have the option to define the grading guide. Since I had already chosen a grading guide for this course, or for this particular assignment, I am shown the one that I have, and I can edit it by clicking on any of the criterion that are already defined. If I would prefer to not use a grading guide, if I'd prefer instead to change to a rubric or change to simple grading. If instead of clicking on Define the Grading Guide, I click on Advanced Grading again, then I get the drop-down to change the active grading method. I can change it to Simple Direct Grading, and that will make my grading guide go away. Or I can change it to Rubric, and then I'll get the opportunity to create a rubric. Or when I'm here, I can click this Edit the Current Form Definition and again get to the place where I can edit the current grading guide.